print industry today is divided into two groups. One that use analog printing and the others that use digital. So digital is very cool and exciting. You can customize, you can personalize, but it's a sliver of all the print jobs that exist.
Wow.
The bulk of the printing is still happening in analog.
That's crazy.
Remember movies?
What's the percentage?
Almost like 94% analog, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So basically 90% of the people are printing the same piece over and over and over
Exactly.
and over.
Remember the movies where they would show like a news cycle and then they would show
Yeah,
the
it's like
newspaper?
a cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah,
Exactly.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast. We've got an exciting CMO for you guys to talk to today. Richa Pande is a CMO at HP under one of their B2B units focusing on really expensive printers for print shops, right? Let's go.
You retain most of it. Yeah, my business unit, Industrial Print, manufactures digital presses that we sell into print shops.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So probably a very probably a complicated, hard to find ICP, I would imagine.
Actually, the ICP is fairly well defined because we know that they have to own a print shop. But within that, what becomes very interesting is what are the business challenges that they're looking to solve? How do they intend to grow?
Yeah. I met a really interesting print company that came in today. They have a business model where they basically allow you to upload your photo album to their website, and you can pick any picture you want. They will print it for you for free, but the catch is it comes in the mail like a postcard attached to another advertisement.
Oh, so, that is very cool.
Yeah, so imagine like I upload my archive and I click, I want this picture from Disneyland. It will be attached to an ad from Disneyland if they have Disneyland in the system.
Oh, that's a great way to monetize it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
so like,
brilliant.
I feel like a lot of times print gets a bad rap for being like old school or whatever, but there's so much cool innovation happening in direct mail, personalization with, the things that you can do with data to make that experience, more personable.
I honestly, in the age of AI, I feel print is old school only in the sense that it is enduring.
Yeah, it's like as old as time, right?
It is as old as time.
Yeah, the print press.
But it's old as in time, not because it's just old, but because it works.
Yeah, totally.
In the age of digital, where information becomes very transactional with print, there is this concept of dwell time, engagement, and this idea of keepsakeness that digital just cannot crack through that door, right? Print offers an engagement level that digital just cannot. And as a marketer, if you want to cut through the avalanche of messages we're all bombarded with, it is known that if your message is highly relevant, a direct mail piece has a longer dwell time than a digital email or a digital message. If you get a direct mail piece that has the offer or the information you're looking for, you will save
keep it. Yeah, you literally put it into your purse and travel around with it.
Exactly.
Remember the old 20% off Bed Bath and Beyond? Those things became famous by themselves as a coupon. You always had one ready to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. So is your goal mainly to target existing HP customers and getting them to upgrade their technology, or are you going after market share, trying to get them to replace competitive machines with your product?
So we have, in our growth model, we take two approaches. Of course, we want to protect and grow our install base, but we also are very focused on growing our net new. We call it, that's the oxygen of our business. And the print industry today is divided into two groups. One that use analog printing and the others that use digital. So digital is very cool and exciting. You can customize, you can personalize, but it's a sliver of all the print jobs that exist.
Wow.
The bulk of the printing is still happening in analog.
That's crazy.
Remember movies?
What's the percentage?
Almost like 94% analog, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So basically 90% of the people are printing the same piece over and over and over
Exactly.
and over.
Remember the movies where they would show like a news cycle and then they would show the
it's like
newspaper?
a cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what we are doing right now is, of course, we want to gain share in that sliver of 6 or 10%. but it's more sexy and exciting to go after the 90%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there are so many advancements in our technology where we can bring the capabilities of digital into some of those mid-lengths that we call of analog. The larger runs will still need to be done on analog, but the mid-size runs, digital is fast encroaching into that space. So it's all gonna change up.
That's
it's very
pretty
exciting.
crazy. Do your machines print books too?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. We can print a book in under 3 minutes.
Holy cow.
From a digital PDF to an actual printed bound copy. Can
That's
you believe
amazing.
it?
That's really cool. Well, the reason I ask is I recently did some consulting for a client, but also had a user experience where I met this company that basically sells AI customized children's books with your kids in the books.
So the child co-authors the book.
Yeah,
Yes.
or the child stars in the book. So like basically I met this company, we started doing some paid social work for them to try to help improve their performance. And at the same time, my wife didn't even know I was working on this client. And she's like, look at this book I just bought. It's Tristan in a dinosaur world, and it's my son injected into a dinosaur world. And it was a customized piece of Facebook ad that targeted her, that put my son's face in an ad, and knew that he liked dinosaurs somehow. And she saw that and immediately hit the button. And then within a day, we have a custom book with his, it's kind of kitschy, but for a parent, it's like, you just can't say no, right? It's like an impulse purchase. It's $30.
Most likely it was printed on our
Yeah,
technology.
I was going to say, so do you think that's going to be a growing industry of like AI customized books where everybody has a copy of something that's unique?
Yes, absolutely. And not just a consumer doing this for the child or something like that, even for brands. Remember Share a Coke?
Yeah.
It had said Share a Coke Dylan.
Yeah,
right?
the cans. Yeah, totally.
That's
And they just no way. So
Yes.
you print on not just paper but really any kind of material.
Any kind of substrate.
Yep.
But now imagine for brands that are looking to break out from the sea of sameness on a retail shelf. Imagine
Customized packaging.
packaging. You could imagine if you ran a campaign for a game that is taking place in a city, or let's say there's a marathon. It's so hyper localized. It might be a big thing for the city, but outside the city it doesn't have
matter.
any relevance.
Yeah, that's wild.
But for 2 days, your product could be hyper localized to that city. Can you imagine
That's
the possibilities?
really cool.
It's very fascinating.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you about what are the channels that are most effective? The one that comes to mind is LinkedIn. I think about, but I also think printing people, are they still considered kind of old school, people, or are they on LinkedIn? They're probably prospecting and finding their customers on LinkedIn too, or is it more of an old school? I think about some of the printers that I've met. There's really advanced ones like Modern Postcard in San Diego that have huge facilities and do a lot of digital offline and online customization. But then you go to a local print shop that's making T-shirts and but also does some poster work and gift cards and stuff like that. Is it still kind of an old school industry, or would you say that it's modernized in most aspects?
We call our customers PSP, print service providers.
Got it.
They're the most fascinating subsegment or an audience that I've ever engaged with in my career.
That's crazy.
They are absolutely into technology. I mean, they need to know every little piece of how our equipment works. Okay, they're technologists first and businessmen second, or business people second. They are a print service provider providing direct, and they're usually vertically integrated into agencies.
Interesting. Okay, so they're a division of a
They
direct
will
mail or
have
performance agency.
Exactly, and their knowledge of how to leverage CRM is fascinating. So one of our customers works with BMWs. What are they called?
The Springer Vans?
Dealership.
Oh, dealers, yeah.
Dealerships.
Okay, yep.
If you're a BMW owner, you know that they know when you should be considering about buying a new car or whatever.
Or when you need to get your oil changed,
And
or
they will
rotate your
plant
tires.
exactly, but they will plant the idea. You may not even be thinking about buying a new car, but now suddenly they will plant a seed in your head, and all of a sudden you're discussing with your wife, maybe we need to buy a new car, right? So they have such sophisticated CRM technology. They are so sophisticated with AI. Again, I want to emphasize the fact, just because print has been around before digital, nothing about print is old school. Not the people who own the shops, not the technology itself.
Or the execution. Yeah.
All this digital technology will come and go and evolve and change.
Yeah.
Print will
Stay
endure.
the same to some degree. A lot of the base mechanics.
But to your question, are they active on LinkedIn? Do they use LinkedIn? Absolutely. You know what? I have done B2B marketing in all of my adult life. I really believe that there is no such thing as someone has a different buying or information consumption behavior in their personal life versus in their work life.
They act the same.
They act the same. So if you're spending time on TikTok to entertain yourself or make videos for your children or whatever, well, that means you're consuming information. Your preference is to consume information through video. So when you're buying a press, and if I, as a marketer, target you with my information about my press when you are early in the buying journey, or you're even just starting to think about it, but I am the manufacturer who is educating you through videos, I have your attention. So I don't think that people are like digitally savvy in their personal life, but then when they come to work, they're like, well, I'm in an old school industry, so now I'll go low tech.
Yeah, totally. It's
right?
They match their user behavior of however they show up.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So, Possible, what are you most excited about seeing this week? What was the main reason that you wanted to come?
I'm going to sound I'm going to give a very expected answer. I'm going to sound very boring. But I am so curious what my peers and what my industry is doing in terms of AI. I want to hang out with people who are excited about AI, not fear mongering.
Yeah, they're optimists versus people that are either afraid of their jobs or think the Terminator is going to kill us or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm seeking out people who are looking to push the narrative, push the boundaries. They're looking at AI as a growth engine, as a growth vector. That's what I want to see. How are, some companies are much further along. I want to learn from them. I also want to gauge, where do we stand? How are they solving? Everyone is facing some manifestation of some very core problems: leadership in AI, training your teams in AI, change management, growing a bigger share of wallet in your customer base. I want to see how companies who are not even in my space, how are they using AI? Because I know some ideas will sort of ricochet off of each other, and they may not be in my industry, but there might be something that I'm like, oh, that's really cool, I should think about that.
Do you feel like Possible has done a good job of curating other B2B marketers? Do you think it's heavy focused on consumer, enough focus on B2B? Are they giving B2B enough mindshare?
It seems more media heavy.
Yeah.
But I'm still exploring. This is my first conference. I'm still exploring. It's first day of my first conference. This is my first time I've attended Possible. But you know what? If we do find that B2B is lacking, then you and I, we should shape it for next year.
Let's go.
Let's make it possible.
I love that. So, you said something really interesting, like wanting to hang out with AI optimists. I think that's like a very much like it's a great statement. And I've attended some conferences recently where people have challenged, like, brands need to do a better job at storytelling around AI and giving people optimism and hope for the future versus fear. One of the coolest stories that I've heard, I actually heard it in another podcast with another agency leader right before I left Possible back in San Diego, But she asked me if I had heard about the IKEA case study with how they replaced their customer service workers. Did you hear about this case study?
I don't know the details of it, but I did hear that IKEA replaced the customer service, and the reason why it's stuck in my head is because I thought I always had this perception that IKEA was very people centric,
Yes.
so it seemed
There's a good ending.
incongruous. But do
But there's
tell
a great
me.
ending.
Yeah, tell
So
me.
that totally, you're right.
Oh, they retrained them.
They
did
retrained them to become interior designers.
Yes,
So
yes,
they
yes,
took
yes.
them out of a boring job of going like this and answering the phone and chatbotting with people on how to wrench their
Yeah.
their plywood
Or make sense
bed
of
frame.
the figures and the drawings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they put all those people out on the showroom, reskilled them to be interior designers. It's a huge business for them. It's upselled. It's created a new business line of a new profit center, and it's also driven more sales of just their traditional lines of furniture. But I thought that was a great story about how an organization is taking what would some might consider low skill work and turning those frontline employees into more productive, exciting opportunities for career advancement, but also having an impact on the bottom line. I think that's people's biggest fear is like, oh, my job's gonna get replaced. But are there any exciting stories within the HP family that you've heard about where it's like, okay, AI is coming in, but it's unleashing people to do more cooler, more fulfilling work?
Yeah, so this is a beautiful story because you used the word replace, that people are afraid AI will replace. I think instead of replace, we should say reimagine with
I
AI,
like that.
right?
Yeah.
So one of the cool stories for AI within HP is within my own business unit. So in our industry, peer-to-peer advocacy is a very critical step in the buying journey. When a print service provider buys our press, it's a big chunk of the annual turnover. It's a big buy.
Yeah.
It determines these are small to medium-sized business owners. A wrong move could mean make or break the business.
Yeah.
These are legacy businesses.
Major. It's like the guys that do like machine welding or something crazy where like one piece of technology is essentially the core foundation
Exactly.
of the business.
So they want to be with a partner.
You guys are almost franchises, it's like the piece of technology is the business. You still have to do other things, obviously, to run a business, but it's the core foundation.
Exactly. And these are legacy businesses, so you don't want to be that guy in the family line who lost the family business, right? So they want to partner with someone they can trust, someone they know will invest in the technology roadmap. So it's not just about the cost of buying the equipment now.
It's a service afterwards.
It's the service afterwards, and will HP keep investing in the technology so it gets better and better? Because every time we invest in the technology, our customers grow faster than the market.
Wow, very cool.
So they don't want, they are counting on HP to maintain that edge. And they don't want HP to lose that edge either. So there's a lot to take in before you make that purchase. And they want to talk to their peers. Now, pre-AI, we knew we needed to help our prospects speak to our customers. But we couldn't do that at scale.
Yeah, it's hard to create a referral network that isn't organic.
Exactly.
Or to facilitate that experience.
Exactly. So now we're using AI to do that, where we are matching the right prospect based on what they're looking for with the customer, and we exit the conversation because that is the point, right? If you're there, then
it's biased.
Then it's not peer-to-peer advocacy, right? So we were able to get the scale and take the work out, the productivity needed to do this, not just for one prospect. I mean, at most you could do it for 1, 5, 10, but you couldn't scale beyond that without also scaling your team.
Yeah, because it's essentially like a salesperson.
Right.
Prospect A, meet my customer.
And now they couldn't meet because of this reason, so the cycle starts over again. So that has been a beautiful example where, yes, we will use AI for productivity, but that's just automation. We want to use AI to drive growth. and go into areas we know we should but couldn't. So I really like that example. It was an example of something that we knew we needed to do. It would benefit our customers, but we just couldn't do it. And now that restriction, that constraint has been lifted. So I find that very exciting. And this is just the beginning. This is just like one area
Early
that
days.
yeah.
I love
One
it.
foray.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. If folks want to follow along with your thinking, or if you could point the audience to learn more about what you're up to, where do you want to send them?
My LinkedIn profile.
Beautiful.
Please look me up.
I will link to it in the show notes.
All right, fabulous.
Have a great show.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks for
You
having
too.
me.
Pleasure. Thanks so much.